What's up, fight fans? This is the mighty mean Joe Frazier. You are now tuned in to Fist Physics. Today's topic, Daniel Jacobs taking on the monster of the 160-pound division, the middleweight division, Gennady Golovkin, the undefeated champ. This fight is going on at Madison Square Garden, March 18th, 2017. All belts on the line. It will be a pay-per-view event promoted mostly by HBO. Now, first off, in my opinion, this is a great fight for the fans. It's definitely going to be worth your pay-per-view dollars. A lot of fights that HBO has been kind of sending out there have not. I really took some time off last year because the fights were pretty boring. To be honest with you. And I didn't feel like it was really anything out there that was really pay-per-view worthy. With that said, this is a much better fight than Cotto taking on Kirkland, which they're throwing on pay-per-view. I don't know who's going to buy that. I'm not going to buy that. And it's not that I have anything against those fighters. I love those two guys. Miguel Cotto followed his career prior to the car accident. If you're a real Miguel Cotto fan, that really goes like digging in the crate there with that. But I'm a big fan of the two guys, but that fight is not pay-per-view worthy. Even if you were to sit down and examine it on paper, nobody really cares about that. But this Daniel Jacobs taking on Triple G, this is a great fight. It's going to be speed and athleticism versus timing and accuracy. Both of these guys have power, so I don't really throw that into the equation. But now taking a look at Daniel Jacobs' record, he's currently 32-1. 29 of those wins coming by knockout. He has an 88% knockout ratio. He's 29 years old. 6 foot even, 73-inch reach, hailing from Brownsville, Brooklyn. He hasn't lost a fight since 2007. In 2007, he lost to a great Russian fighter who was nicknamed the Grandmaster, I believe it was, Demetrius Prague, who hasn't been active since 2012, which is a shame because he was a great fighter. Since then, Daniel has gone on a 12 knockout winning streak. 13 of his last opponents 12 of them have been knocked out. Last two were Peter Quillen, the undefeated guy. I think Peter was actually 31-0 at the time, and Sergio Mora, who he knocked out twice. Now, because of the Demetrius Prague fight, most are actually counting Jacobs out, saying that he has like a shaky chin. He's not durable. He's not going to be in there for this one. So pretty much he's being counted out. I'm not really sure of the odds. I haven't gone and checked in a while. But I'm pretty sure he might be like a 2 to 3-1 underdog in this one. But he has a shot. He's got youth on his side. He's got power on his side. He's got speed on his side. And he's got raw athleticism. Now, before I even get into like the straight matchup, I just want to break down Triple G for anybody who is listening who's not really a fan and doesn't know these two guys. Gennady Golovkin, who's had an excellent amateur record. I think he was actually 300 fights plus as far as his wins go. His current knockout ratio is 92%. He's 36 wins, 33 of those wins coming by knockout. He's 34 years old, currently holds most of the belts at middleweight. He's 5'10", 70-inch reach. His last win was last year when he stopped Kell Brook, who was actually coming up from 147 to take on and challenge this monster. Only 2 guys since his pro career have actually gone the distance with him. And that's because Gennady's pretty much a complete fighter. He has a great trainer in Abel Sanchez. And some things that Gennady actually does great is his timing, his accuracy, his ability to switch up punches. He seems to me, from far away, to be a complete fighter. He seems to do his best work when he can keep a guy at mid-range. So, in this fight, we will be looking to see how Gennady adapts to a man who has more athleticism than him and is his size. Like Kell Brook is an athletic guy, but he's really not a 160. I know he put on the extra weight or claimed that he was walking around in a heavier weight. he didn't take those punches like a middleweight. And Daniel Jacobs, I believe, has the durability of a real middleweight as well as the speed. So I mean, in this one, we're going to be looking to see how Gennady adapts to this fight. Now, I'm not saying that Jacobs is definitely going to beat Gennady, and I'm also not saying that Triple G is going to walk right over Daniel Jacobs. I am saying that this is going to be a tough fight for both guys, and I see how a win, just looking at strategy or thinking about strategy, I think that if Daniel Jacobs goes in and he maximizes his youth, his speed, his power, his athleticism, that he could pull off a decision. He could steal a decision. Why am I saying that? I noticed that a lot of guys, because of G's power, they try to stay on the outside. G will close the range a little bit, and then he goes to work. Keeps you at that mid-range distance. He's very good at maintaining the mid-range distance with guys. But I haven't seen anyone really try to smother him. And I think if you were, I mean, Gennady's already 34 years old. He was in his prime a few years back. I mean, we didn't really get to see him at the top of the game in his prime. Okay, but his body should actually physically be on the decline. And he's already not the fastest guy in the world. So I'm saying that if Daniel Jacobs can smother G for the first half of the fight and not get hurt, work the body, perhaps in the second half, G would be a little bit tired. Maybe he would have lost something by the time we get to that second half. And having to deal with the speed and athleticism of a younger man who's taking you into these deep waters like that, maybe you could drown this big fish. Is it possible? I think anything is possible. I mean, this is boxing. This is why we love it. This is why we tune in. This is why we are prepared to pay what this is probably going to cost about $59.99. That's why we watch boxing. Now, Gennady, I mean, he pretty much, I'm pretty sure Abel Sanchez is going to come in here with the same game plan that they usually have. Timing, accuracy, keep him at mid-range, and beat him up till he goes away. I don't see anything else that Triple G is really doing besides that. So, I mean, I can't wait for this fight. Really excited. Really excited about this fight. And hopefully this will pave the way for Canelo Triple G to actually get made. Personally, and I know a lot of people are still banging on Canelo for not taking the Triple G fight. But, and this is just a little sidebar getting off the complete topic of Daniel Jacobs and Triple G. If Canelo was my fighter, and there's a monster in the room, there's a monster in the rankings, but he's an older guy, perhaps I hold my fighter back a few years. I let him mature a little bit more. I mean, Canelo's just starting to get into, in my opinion, I don't think fighters really get into their prime years until about 28, till about 32. I think right there, you still got most of your youthful body, but you got this wealth of experience to draw on, and I think that those really are the prime years of a fighter. Now, G been going through the paces, beating everybody. He's already an older guy, and my guy is 25, 26. Why not hold him back? I try to hold him back as long as I could until, one, the public was salivating at the mouth for this fight, one. Two, making sure that this guy is old and beat up so we walk in there and we're able to dominate a complete 12 rounds and walk away and say, you know what, we just beat the monster. And I'm also saying that Daniel Jacobs perhaps can pull this type of win off. Perhaps this night on March 18th, he can walk in there and he can drown the whale. But we're going to see. All right, folks, tune in, man. I'm coming up with more videos as soon as I can. One.